Have you ever wondered why some people seem to make wise decisions, even in the most difficult moments, while others repeat the same mistakes over and over again? Thousands of years ago, a king asked for something that almost no one else would have chosen. He did not ask for riches, military power, or a long life. Instead, he asked for wisdom. That decision changed history forever. King Solomon has been remembered for centuries as the wisest man of his time. His words have survived empires, wars, and generations because they speak to something timeless, the human heart. Technology has changed. Cities have changed. The world has changed. But human nature remains remarkably similar. We still struggle with fear, pride, temptation, anger, greed, relationships, and the search for purpose. That is why Solomon's wisdom still speaks to us today. Wisdom is not simply knowing many facts. It is knowing how to live well. Intelligence can solve complex equations, but wisdom helps someone choose honesty over deception, patience over anger, and humility over pride. Every day we make decisions that shape our future, often without realizing it. A single conversation, a financial choice, a habit repeated over months, or a careless word spoken in anger can influence the direction of an entire life. One of Solomon's greatest teachings is that wisdom begins with reverence for God. This does not mean living in constant fear. It means recognizing that there is a higher truth beyond our own opinions. People often trust only their emotions, but emotions change from one day to the next. Wisdom invites us to build our lives on principles that remain steady, even when our feelings do not. Think about how many people spend years chasing success while neglecting their character. They believe money alone will bring peace. Others pursue fame, expecting recognition to fill the emptiness inside. Yet history repeatedly shows that wealth without wisdom often leads to destruction. Solomon himself became unimaginably wealthy, but he understood that riches without understanding could never satisfy the deepest needs of the human soul. Another lesson Solomon teaches is the incredible power of words. Every sentence we speak has the potential to build or destroy. A kind word can restore hope to someone who feels forgotten. A harsh word can leave a wound that lasts for years. Many conflicts begin not because of great crimes, but because someone failed to control their tongue. Wisdom teaches us to pause before speaking, to listen carefully, and to choose words that bring peace instead of unnecessary division. Patience is another treasure that Solomon valued deeply. Modern life encourages immediate results. We want instant answers, instant success, instant recognition, and instant pleasure. Yet the greatest achievements rarely happen overnight. A strong family is built one day at a time. Financial stability grows through consistent discipline. Trust is earned slowly, but can disappear in a single moment. Wisdom reminds us that lasting success almost always requires patience. Pride is another danger Solomon warned about repeatedly. Pride whispers that we already know everything. It convinces us that advice is unnecessary and correction is an insult. But humble people continue learning throughout their lives. They accept mistakes, grow from failure, and become stronger because they remain teachable. Wisdom begins where arrogance ends. Solomon also understood the importance of choosing the right companions. The people around us influence our thoughts, our habits, and eventually our future. Spend enough time with those who encourage dishonesty, and dishonesty begins to feel normal. Walk with people of integrity, and integrity slowly becomes part of your own character. Every friendship is quietly shaping the person you are becoming. One of the most practical lessons found in Proverbs concerns self-control. Many lives are damaged, not because of a lack of opportunity, but because of a lack of discipline. A person may have talent, intelligence, and ambition, yet still fail because they cannot control anger, spending, laziness, or destructive desires. Self-control may not seem exciting, but it quietly determines the quality of nearly every area of life. Solomon frequently contrasted the wise person with the foolish one. The wise person listens before answering. The foolish person interrupts. The wise person plans for the future. The foolish person ignores tomorrow. The wise person accepts correction. The foolish person rejects it. These differences may appear small at first, but over years they create dramatically different lives. Great destinies are often built through small daily choices rather than spectacular moments. Perhaps one of the most comforting truths Solomon offers is that wisdom is available to anyone willing to seek it. It is not reserved for kings, scholars, or the wealthy. It belongs to those who remain curious, humble, and willing to learn. Every mistake can become a lesson. Every challenge can become an opportunity for growth. Every setback can teach something that success never could. The world often celebrates confidence, but Solomon celebrated understanding. He knew that speaking less and observing more often leads to better decisions. In a noisy world filled with endless opinions, wisdom teaches us to slow down, reflect carefully, and ask better questions before rushing toward conclusions. Many people believe their future depends only on luck or circumstances. Solomon presents a different picture. While we cannot control everything that happens to us, we can control the principles by which we choose to live. Integrity, honesty, diligence, kindness, patience, humility, and self-control are investments that continue, producing rewards long after temporary pleasures have faded. Imagine what would happen if every decision you made was guided not by fear or impulse but by wisdom. Relationships would become healthier. Financial choices would become more thoughtful. Conflicts would become less destructive. Anxiety would lose much of its power because wise people learn to focus on what they can control, instead of constantly worrying about what they cannot. The wisdom of Solomon has endured for thousands of years because it addresses questions that every generation eventually asks. How should I live? Who can I trust? What truly matters? How do I avoid regret? These questions remain as important today as they were in the ancient world. And perhaps that is why millions continue returning to these timeless words, discovering that genuine wisdom never grows old. As life moves forward, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Every choice has a consequence. Some consequences appear immediately, while others remain hidden for months or even years. Solomon understood this better than most. He observed that people often judge a decision by its short-term reward, but wisdom looks far beyond the present moment. It asks not only what do I gain today, but also who will I become because of this choice. This perspective changes everything. A person who chooses honesty, when lying would be easier, may lose something in the moment, but gain something far more valuable: character. Someone who chooses discipline instead of comfort may struggle today, yet builds a future filled with opportunities that others never experience. Wisdom teaches us that the greatest rewards often belong to those who are willing to wait. Solomon also warned against the trap of comparison. Even in ancient times, people looked at the success of others and wondered why their own lives seemed different. Today, that temptation is even stronger. We are constantly surrounded by carefully edited images of success, wealth, beauty, and achievement. It is easy to believe that everyone else has a better life, but wisdom reminds us that appearances can be deceiving. Many people look successful on the outside while carrying anxiety, loneliness, or regret within. Instead of comparing ourselves with others, Solomon encourages us to focus on becoming better than we were yesterday. Real growth is not measured by competing with another person. It is measured by becoming more patient, more generous, more disciplined, and more faithful over time. Small improvements repeated consistently create extraordinary results. Another lesson found throughout Proverbs is the value of hard work. Solomon admired diligence because he recognized that success rarely comes to those who simply wait for opportunities. The person who prepares, studies, practices, and perseveres is far more likely to recognize opportunities when they appear. Hard work does not guarantee immediate success, but laziness almost guarantees missed potential. Yet Solomon also understood that work alone is not enough. A person may spend every waking hour chasing wealth and still lose the things that matter most. Family, friendships, integrity, peace of mind, and a clear conscience cannot be purchased. They must be cultivated. Wisdom calls us to pursue balance, remembering that a meaningful life is built, not only through achievement but also through love, compassion, and gratitude. Gratitude itself is a quiet form of wisdom. It shifts our attention from what we lack to what we have already been given. People who are never satisfied often believe that happiness is waiting, just beyond the next promotion, the next purchase, or the next accomplishment. But Solomon repeatedly reminds us that contentment is a treasure. A grateful heart finds joy in ordinary moments that others overlook. Perhaps one of the greatest dangers Solomon identified is the illusion that actions have no consequences. People often convince themselves that one dishonest decision, one moment of anger, or one careless habit will not matter. But life is shaped by patterns. Just as a river slowly carves a canyon through solid rock, repeated choices quietly shape our character. Every habit is a vote for the person we are becoming. This is why wisdom pays attention to small things. A single act of kindness may seem insignificant, yet kindness practiced daily transforms relationships. One moment of forgiveness can break a cycle of bitterness that has lasted for years. One decision to tell the truth can restore trust that seemed impossible to rebuild. The smallest choices often produce the greatest impact over time. Solomon also emphasized the importance of guarding the heart. Our thoughts eventually become our words become our actions become our habits, and our habits become our destiny. If we allow resentment, envy, hatred, or pride to take root, they eventually influence every area of our lives. But when we fill our minds with truth, wisdom, and compassion, those qualities naturally begin to shape our decisions. There's also remarkable wisdom in learning when not to react. Every insult does not require an answer. Every disagreement does not need to become an argument. Every criticism does not deserve our attention. Sometimes strength is found not in speaking louder, but in remaining calm. A peaceful response has the power to stop conflicts before they grow into something far more destructive. One of Solomon's most practical observations is that people reveal themselves over time. Character cannot remain hidden forever. Kindness eventually becomes visible. Integrity becomes evident. Dishonesty exposes itself. This is why wisdom teaches patience when judging others. Rather than being impressed by impressive words alone, wise people observe consistent actions. As the years passed, Solomon witnessed both triumph and tragedy. He saw nations rise and fall. He experienced incredible success, but he also understood disappointment. His writings remind us that life will never be free from challenges. Wisdom does not eliminate hardship. Instead, it prepares us to face hardship with courage, clarity, and hope. Every generation searches for the secret of a meaningful life. Some search through wealth, others seek power, popularity, or endless entertainment. Yet Solomon's voice continues to echo across thousands of years with a surprisingly simple message. True wisdom is worth more than silver, more precious than gold, and more valuable than anything the world can offer. Those who pursue it discover something that circumstances cannot easily take away. A life built on lasting truth rather than temporary success.